mosques, knowing that through the mosque it would get directly to the people who need it. So it really helped out throughout the month of Ramadan.
Okay, well, there was a traumatic event or a tragedy per se.
Right at the beginning of Ramadan, Sheikh Sattar Abu Risha was killed.
He was the one that was responsible for the Anabar awakening, was he not?
Yeah, he was a key figure in the awakening. I think he was located in Jazeera. He definitely supported what happened in Ramadi, but he was a nationalistic figure. Met with government officials from across the world about what was happening in Al-Anbar and looking to spread what happened in the Anbar province to Baghdad and other cities in Iraq. We were, as the Marines, we were extremely worried to see the fallout of this. The terrorists had definitely hit the figurehead for some people of that movement. The civilians and the IPs came out strong. They increased their security, taking extra control measures. The people were put out their own IO posters of him saying, he's a great man, he's a martyr for what he did. However, this movement is unstoppable now. By killing one man, the terrorists, you have done nothing. So.
Okay, up until this Ramadan had been a fairly violent time, was it not?
Correct.
So what kind of events other than Sheikh Sattar occurred during Ramadan? None. So there were no incidents during Ramadan?
Zero.
And once again, I guess that's an example of you must have the support of the people. Because last year, there was no power, no electricity, no civil services, and the terrorists were in control of the city.
Right.
And that was one of the more violent years as far as Ramadan was concerned.
Correct.
I think I remember somebody showed me it was actually in the hundreds of incidents that occurred at that time. There weren't hundreds during the day. Well, that's amazing. So at that time, were there any other major events that took place during Ramadan?
Not particularly. Like I said, we just reversed. I just reversed my schedule. We really picked up on the security. We were doing extra patrols, going out and supporting the IP checkpoints out in the city, making sure they had everything they need. Those guys were standing out there all night, every night.
I understand that there was an incident that occurred during Ramadan where apparently they captured somebody who was trying to infiltrate the city, a terrorist.
Well, I mean, it's happened throughout the deployment. The great thing about the IPs is because they're from the local populace, their intelligence and counterintelligence is outstanding. Basically, the IPs know when someone from outside the city comes into the city, and within hours has them at the police station questioning them. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Why have you come to Ramadi? Do you have family here? Whatever the questions may be. The terrorists are very restricted right now, and it has spread throughout the city, from the northern sectors to all of the south, and the IPs are all starting to focus effort and cross-coordinate. So foreigners coming in to the city are promptly yanked up, questioned, taken care of.
Okay, so it's really the IPs that are the ones that are responsible for the security. I think it's something that's been stressed over and over in all my interviews.
Correct.
That the IPs are the ones that are actually responsible for the security in the city.
Yes.
So Ramadan went by. There were no significant events. After that time, what was the next major event to take place, or a learning lesson? Because I assume, like you said, working on contracts, you were constantly learning how to improve your ability to write contracts and see problems where they were in the city.
Right. Like I said, I mean, it was really just a continuation of things. City services just becoming more efficient. Some of the bigger projects from IRD and stuff getting done. 17th Street being completed. Things like that just really started to make the people optimistic. The district council got together and put lights up along the streets. Walking out into the city that was historically pitch black dark all night, and now that people have street lights on almost every street of RAO. Like things like that in people's lives have changed them dramatically and just made them that much more happy and willing to work with us and cooperate with us. The train, like we really have been focusing on the IP training. Trying to get these guys as professional as we possibly can. We're training 5 to 6 days a week, multiple, like 4 to 5 hours a day, and just continuing the actions that have taken place.
Did we discuss that earlier in the interview? The fact that
The training?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't recall if we had talked about that earlier. Or that was actually during the first take. Okay. So you definitely see major improvements with the IPs going toward traditional law enforcement. That's
Correct.
something we're seeing every day.
Correct.
I guess we're kind of winding down on the interview. Was there anything that, like I said, took place during the latter half that you can recall?
Well, I'd say some outside events that definitely had some effect on the city was, for instance, the Iraqi national team winning the Asia Cup. Big, huge surge of nationalistic pride. You can see all the flags across the city now still. Like that, like things like that just help to reinforce what we were trying to do here. Create that national identity and support it and encourage it to where people begin to see themselves as, purely as Iraqi, that everyone has the same interests, that they're all working toward the same common goal, which is a better country. We've been having some celebrations. 2 days ago, we had the Asia Cup. The actual trophy came to the city. We had a party in Jamaya at a school with all the children and the men, and it was a great event. They gave us the honor of inviting us, giving us a few gifts here and there. But I think that just shows that we've become part of their life, and not a hindrance, not anything out of the ordinary. We're just part of their normal everyday life right now, and they're reaping the benefits from us being here, and I think they appreciate it.
So they don't want things to go back to what they were.
No, absolutely not.
You no longer hear anything more about when Saddam was around. We got so much free food every day and stuff like that.
There's still some problems with the government. There's always conspiracy theories out there. One of the things that coalition forces across the country are really trying to do is reinforce that national government, the local governments, the processes of government that the people, to a certain extent, sometimes have no faith in. They believe corruption is rampant. They believe that no one will ever help them if the Marines are not here. No one will help them.
Is that kind of a concern of yours?
It is a concern, because a lot of times you'll go to someone and they'll pose a problem to you, and you'll ask them if they've talked to a specific person on the Iraqi side, and they'll say no. Well, why not? Well, they won't help me anyway. Well, you don't know. So you try and encourage them to go through the proper channels before you take action, and that's really what we're trying to do. Is that whole transition of authority idea of where the city can sustain itself.
Okay, so from the Saddam regime, there's just a lot of, I guess, ideas and tendencies that are kind of embedded in them.
Correct.
I assume Saddam.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there corruption present in the government? Absolutely. Sometimes there's no getting around it, and just what we're trying to do at the grassroots level is just change it. Making them understand the basics of representative and democratic government. A lot of people, if you go out and you ask them, like, do you know what voting